Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube. My name is Ninjapan. This YouTube is for the people who want to work in Japan. As I am a professional HR in Japan, I try to give useful information for you in terms of finding a job, living in Japan, even tax information. So let's move to today's topic. Here we go.
Right, today's topic is why your interviews failed in terms of Japanese company. As I am HR member and HR manager, I conducted a lot of interviews with foreigners. Among of them, some interviews were really good, but others are not good, of course. I'm curious about good or bad interviews. Today, I'd like to explain the difference of these interviews in order to help you get an offer from Japanese company. Right, let's get started. First of all, when you speak Japanese or when you speak other language from Japanese, then that interview is non-native language communication because the interviewers are Japanese native. So if you use different language from Japanese, that language is not native language for interviewers. On the other hand, if you speak Japanese language, that language is not native language for you. In other words, it's really difficult to understand those words clearly. So, first of all, let's not focus on understanding each other 100%. So you do not need to let you down if you don't understand what the interviewer said correctly. On the other hand, you should not care about that interviewers cannot understand 100% what you say. Right, this is the basement. And after understanding this base, I'd like to recommend 5 tips for Japanese interview. These are 5 tips for Japanese interview. First is short sentence should be much better because, as I mentioned before, it might be impossible to understand 100% each other. Sometimes a foreigner wants to give a lot of information in an interview. However, for Japanese interviewers, it's really difficult to get and understand the long sentence different from their own language. That's why short information can be very helpful for the interviewers. So you should make what you say shorter than you want. Second is not ambiguous. I mean, please say specifically and no need metaphor. I have encountered one foreigner who tended to use metaphor. Like he said, I don't want to be dinosaur in tech area. Then I asked him, what does it mean? because I couldn't understand it. And he said he do not want to delay the cutting edge technology. I thought, please say the straight word firstly. We are not, for example, English native speakers. That's why English metaphor is very, very, very difficult to understand because metaphor requires us to know the background information and the history or characteristic of the people. Of course, different native people do not have much information to understand the metaphor. So using metaphor tend to bring the unfortunate result to you. So make sentence specific. Next is to add the contribution word for a company into the reason for changing job, not only skill. This is a special point for Japanese company. Japanese company tend to like the person who want to contribute to the company, not for the candidate's future. I can understand most of candidates, probably all of the candidates, want to improve their career and grow the skills because your life is yours, of course. But company requires the employees to contribute to the company's growth firstly. And the Japanese companies have grown through the teamwork of the employees. So if there is one person who focuses on only the career, the teamwork would be messy. Also, in Japan, firing a person is in many cases impossible. Of course we can, but very difficult. We need long time and a long process to fire a person comparing to other countries. So it's understandable for a company to hire the person who will prioritize the company's growth because the company cannot fire. So when you take an interview, please say, firstly, I can contribute to the company through my experiences. As the reason why you choose the company and you choose to change the career. It should provide good evaluation with the interviewers. And the next is assertion should be the last. In many Japanese companies, assertion is not the good thing to accept. Firstly, most of Japanese companies requires employees' contribution before the company gives something to employees. I mean, Japanese company often say, please do something before you say something. This is Japanese culture, I think. That's why, for example, if you want to negotiate salary or if you want to negotiate the opportunity, you should say what you want at final phase of interview. I recommend you to do that. Saying that at first phase of interview might cause the negative effect for your evaluation. So keeping it into your mind should be better. And the final one is smile is the ultimate weapon. I mean, Japanese people love smile. Of course, no one dislikes smile, but especially for Japanese company, because Japanese communication relies on ambiguous actions. This is a culture map about the communication in the world. You can see Japan depends on high context communication, which means Japanese people needs to read between lines. In other words, text information is sometimes not useful for Japanese people. That's why if you have a good smile, you have good non-verbal communication, that result should be much better than other countries because Japanese people tend to recognize this candidate as a good team member in the future because we require the members to be team. That's why please be smile. It's very useful weapon for you. Okay, this is the end of today's session. I'm looking forward to meeting you next interview. If you get useful information from this movie, please register this YouTube or please put like button. Thank you so much. Bye bye.